Hi everyone. I want to formally introduce myself. My name is Mariah Campbell. I am a philosopher, soap maker, permaculture farmer, ex-vegan, and herbalist, and if you also care to know, a wife and a mother, all of which developed in my life in that order. In my last video, I defended PermaEarth's motto and explained that using buttermilk and lard animal products raised in the traditional way of farming without dependence upon modern agricultural methods is so much better for the environment than a plant-based dependent upon industrialized monocrop farming.
The environment is in trouble. Many people are pointing the finger at large-scale factory farms, to the point where some activists are even trying to eradicate them completely. Many people are now opting to purchase from small farms. These small farms claim are local, free-range, pasture-raised, grass-fed. These are really just labels in order to justify their unethical choices. People are under the impression this is better for the environment. If you choose to eat meat, whether from a small local farm or a large-scale factory farm, your choices have a major impact on the environment.
So, as a vegan relying on any annual crop, you really can't get away with saying everyone should go vegan. There simply isn't enough land to support you.
This statement is not only silly, but completely untrue. And it really doesn't take any rocket science to debunk. Let's put it this way. If you just eat plants, you are only going to need a small amount of land. But if you add livestock, you are going to need not only crops for you and your family, crops for your livestock, and then, of course, if you really want to live up to that free-range, pasture-raised, grass-fed title, you are going to need lots and lots of land for your livestock. If we shifted to exclusively grass-fed beef, it would require increasing the national cattle herd from 77 to 100 million cattle, an increase of 30%. The current pastureland grass resources can only support 27% of the current beef supply. Cattle finishing on pasture also fatten at a slower rate, meaning that cattle must remain finishing on grass for a longer duration in comparison to cattle who are in a feedlot and eating grains. The longer the residence time means the more cattle must reside within finishing operations, assuming that sales are steady. If beef consumption is not reduced and is instead satisfied by greater imports of grass-fed beef, a switch to purely grass-fed systems would likely result in a higher environmental cost, including higher overall methane emissions. Thus, only a reduction in beef consumption can guarantee reduction to the environment.
The only really good environmental vegan is one that is a fruitarian living in or around the equator and only eating off of perennial fruit trees. But I highly do not recommend this for health and environmental reasons. So, if that didn't blow your mind and make you never want to go vegan, let's get a little bit on morality now. I think that it is kind of sad how vegans are all for saving animals' lives, yet rely on a plant-based system which relies on the death of billions of bacteria and insects per microsecond. And if a vegan doesn't mind the death of a bacteria or an insect, or if we want to get a little political and mention aborted fetuses, then I would have to call that vegan a speciesist, which is exactly what vegans call us, openly admitting animal consumers, as one life cannot be valued above another. That is their motto.
People just love and enjoy getting a rise out of vegans and pointing out that no, vegans are in fact not entirely innocent when it comes to destroying and clearing land in order to grow their crops. Yes, we do have to fend off our crops and kill insects, bacteria, rodents, and even the occasional deer who finds our crops very tasty. But I would like to point out that your precious livestock is looking quite tasty to all those coyotes and wolves. Another argument that is used against veganism is that veganism can only really thrive or sustain themselves near the equator or in a patch of land where the nutrients in the soil can grow and produce crops. Well, let's turn the tables around here for a minute. What if everyone quit veganism and went fully carnivore? People raising livestock in either a desert region or somewhere in the Arctic would still need to feed these livestock with, gasp, plants. Plants, like the argument just says, does not grow well in these regions. So, gosh darn golly gee whiz, you are going to have to use planes, trains, and automobiles in order to ship food in order to feed your livestock. Your livestock is not a magical gift from God. These are living, breathing animals, and they also need food and water in order to thrive. You are going to need to clear land, make some crops in order to feed and fatten up your fat cow so you can enjoy a tasty burger.
In my last video, I said I supported natural animal farming and that I was only referring to grazing and forest farming in regards to what we support. This type of farming also proliferates the lives of farm animals by providing them with comfort, care, and a way to live without fear of being overhunted by predators.
Once livestock have eaten all the grass, you need to move them to another area. This is because the soil takes time in order to replenish and be able to grow grass again. If we got rid of factory farms and everyone demanded grass-fed, imagine how much land that would take up. And remember, grass does not grow overnight. You would have to wait for this grass to grow back. Increasing the demand for grass-fed would mean more livestock, more grass, and more land. There is simply not enough space. Eating grass-fed is not the solution. It's actually quite a problem.
Flesh. So let's just say you ban factory farms in this country, everyone still eats flesh. They want organic cows or free-ranging animals. The slaughterhouses here still have the business of butchering animals. Animals are still butchered. I guarantee all this cattle come from free-ranging pasture, you know. That's why vegan advocacy solves all of it, you know. So it's just something to think about if you are advocating for banning factory farms, that you have a vegan message in there, because without the vegan message, it takes the responsibility away and it deals with a symptom instead of the cause.
Factory farms are bad, small farms are good. I can understand this mentality. Most people don't know any better, or never really thought about it, because labels like free range, pasture raised, and grass fed provide a false sense of reassurance. However, what I will never understand is how someone who once was a vegan and did know better can just forget all this and go back to being brainwashed. Not for the sake of feeding people, but for making soap.